Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide podcast featuring the one and only Miss Cierra Brown.
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
You know we blessed to be alive. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How about you? It's good to see you. Finally talk to you.
Yes. I was like, I usually it's funny because it's like I usually ask people, try to get people who want to come, but it feels honored that somebody was like, hey, can I come? I was like, yes, come on in. Like, I'm here for it. So I definitely
Definitely, definitely,
so
definitely.
I'm here. First of all, I gotta see. I saw like looks like a scripture on the tattoo. Let me see what
hmm
it.
It says, "If God before me, who could be against me?"
Ooh, Romans 8:31.
hmm
Ooh, won't he do it? So
Yep, 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 yep.
let's get started. So Miss Sierra, can you tell us your sports story to how you got to where you are?
Sports story. How far you wanna go back? High school?
Girl, the floor is yours.
Okay. We're gonna go to high school. I went to McEachern High School in Powder Springs, Georgia. Played with some amazing players. Probably almost half the team went either D1 or D2. My senior year, I transferred to Alexander High School, 6A. Also, was up there, the competition. Um, First time going to college, I went to Southern Union. It's a JUCO in Wadley, Alabama. Then went to Lane College. Got my first ring in 2019. Stayed there for about 2 years. COVID hit. Nobody wanted to hoop. I still wanted to hoop, so got my film out to a couple coaches. Then I ended up going to Ottawa University in Ottawa, Kansas, and I ended up graduating um, at 23. Ended up having a couple accolades. Second team, first team, second in scoring, first in assists, second in rebounding, things of that nature. Graduated from Ottawa, ended up staying, being the graduate assistant coach. We had the most wins that my first year there as him as the head coach. Um, got to the tournament second year, did pretty good. Graduated last year with my master's. This year is my first year coaching at a at Haskell University. It's an all native school. If you've never heard about them, you got to check us out. We just won a championship. So
Woo!
first year coaching, won a championship, so it's definitely a blessing. It's been a lot of ups and downs with playing and coaching, but it's a lot of good with the bad.
First of all, congratulations on getting your master's, and
Thank you,
also congrats on the back-to-back titles.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I
What would you
appreciate that.
Of course. What would you say is, you know, went from hooping as a college athlete to being a GA to now an assistant coach? What would you say is the transition like going from playing wise to now coaching and mentoring the young ladies into becoming women both on and off the court?
I would say for me personally, being a GA, it depends if you stay at the school or not. So I've hooped at the school and I stayed at the same school I hooped with. So some of the same players I had as teammates and the same coach I had as a coach is now my boss, and now they have to listen to me. So the the role I had to play a different role. I couldn't look at them as teammates anymore. I couldn't look at my coach as like I had to look at him as a mentor, but also understand there's a thin line between those like business and pleasure, business or just having conversation. But um, from going to that, being comfortable around people that I know all the time to transitioning to a Native American school. I've never, um, I knew them because they're down the street from my school also. I used to go to open gyms and hoop with them, but actually coaching wise to transition to an area or to a type of basketball that I've never been used to, never played, never coached before. It definitely was a interesting factor because how I'm used to being played is not the same way um, Native Americans play basketball, raised ball. It's a totally different way of playing. Um, Just the concept of how getting the ball in the basket or playing defense is totally different. So
Can you explain like that difference? Because I've never, like I said, I was like, I've never heard of that type of school before.
yes, okay, so you definitely have to. It's not that much known, just especially what's going on with things with Trump and everything going on like that. But uh, the difference between, I would say, my biggest difference between going from Ottawa. Also, I went from a HBCU to a PWI, predominantly white institution, to an all native institution. So definitely different. I had to change my ways of thinking of because sometimes in culture basketball, of course we know how to pass the ball, but we see a lot of flashy one-on-one um, basketball. And Ottawa is very organized. We're going to set a lot of screens. We're going to run this play. We're going to go exactly what we said we're going to do. And at high school is just like go with the flow. Like I could say this last weekend we had a game. One time, one of the kids they got it. They got smacked in their face. We was running the play. She said, mess all that. She came down and hit a three just because a girl hit her in the face. Like it's a couple times where we'll call something and they're just hoop. Like you scored 13, I'll score 15. You scored 30, I'm gonna score 50. So it's just more like a battle. Like I'm not worried about what you're going to do. I'm gonna do what I know what I can do, and I know I can hoop. So that's what I'm gonna execute. I think those just different levels of how the ball goes in the basket and how it's executed is definitely different. Like I said, HBCU is more chill. Like we understand how we're playing. We're gonna play athletic. PWI, we're gonna stick to exactly what we said we're gonna do. I said do the screen, do the screen. We're gonna look for that shooter. High school, we're just gonna hoop. We're just gonna hoop. That's what we're gonna do. So that's how I could basically most explain it in a way.
That's real right there. I, like I said, I was like, I heard of PWIs and HBCUs, but I never heard like the,
It's
but
different.
the way you just simplified, it, I was like, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
that's real. Like somebody hits a 30, all right, I'm gonna get a 50 on you
Yeah.
real
And
quick.
what you could do, I could do better. That's all that is. What you could do, I could do better. So that's how
I
I
know.
could explain that.
So my question for you is, with the growth of women's basketball, really, and women's sports, is just continuously to be phenomenal. What's it like for you to see the growth of women's basketball continue to grow in visibility and opportunities as you are part of the growth of women's basketball?
Um, it's a blessing also, as because I still hoop on the side, I still play basketball. I'm still trying to go overseas. Actually, I'm signed to Baseline Sports, so still trying to get active and play. But it's been growing rapidly. I recently was playing on a team called Marietta. They called it WNBA, so Women's Marietta Basketball Association, and it just started this year. They had it for the men's. Now all of a sudden they're providing it for the women. Also, there's a new thing called Upshot. Upshot League is starting in a couple teams in North Carolina and then in I think in Savannah. So just that the 3-on-3 with the Unrivaled, just having those opportunities to showcase women's basketball, and it's just not 5-on-5. Men, women, all different ages, all different personalities, ethnicities. We all get to see how women get to get after it in a different space. I feel like some people are used to, especially me when I was growing up, I'm used to seeing certain people on the court and it's like, all right, it's getting a little boring. Like,
Yeah.
it's getting a little boring. But now it's like, okay, you go to an Unrivaled game, you might see a female dunk it. You might see Paige Becker's the buckets, like I like to say. You might see her drop somebody. You might see something that you're not used to seeing. So as women are being more or getting more acquainted or realize or they're being recognized for what we're doing in basketball is allowing other women to be like, okay, I knew I could do that, but now I know I definitely can do that now. Like I could play like how I want to. I don't have to play all like structured and I can hoop how I want to. I think it's opening the doors for other women. Um, yeah, just even on the college level, how they're hooping. Like, I think all doors are beginning to open and people are starting to watch us more and realize, like, oh, they're actually more interested in the boys, you
It'd be like that sometimes. Like
know?
when you like, it's interesting because I look at like, I mean, you, you always had those moments where you like you go to playing pickup right against the guys and you be the only girl and then all of a sudden like it's just like they don't pass you the ball or they start going crazy and just ISO. It's like, man, I'm mentally checked out. Like
Oh,
this
see,
is
nah, me, I will guard you full court. You don't want to pass me the ball? Okay, I will guard you full court. Whoever I'm guarding, the best player, I don't care. Y'all gonna eventually pass me the ball, or I'm gonna steal it, I'm gonna foul it. I might even come get it from you during the game.
oh
We're not gonna play like that. We're not gonna play like that because if I especially know if I'm playing with boys and I know I'm better than some of y'all on the court, no, we're gonna be equal. We're gonna be equal. We're gonna be equal. We're gonna find a way to be equal. You know,
man,
got
because
to, got to.
the
Some
thing is,
boys think they good because they boys. No, no.
a lot of them be, and it's crazy because a lot. I always call them like the casual hoopers. They be like the casual rec hoopers, like the ones that like the non real hoopers, low ones. I call it that because it's like they be the same ones that'll try to say, "I'll play you one on one for your heart or your number." But like, bruh, no, not doing this. Or like I'll post you up when they find out like you hoop. I'm like, I'm not doing this today. We not doing.
Yeah,
I
nah,
so
yeah. Definitely done had a couple of those.
it's like it's like it to me. It's like it makes me like look at it like just don't bother me. I'm gonna just go train by myself.
Yeah,
And so, but it's like dang, this is what happens when like as female hoopers we get this that like instead of like hey, how long you been hooping like an actual conversation.
cringy. They get cringy.
Yeah, like they think it's creative thing and they think it's like oh like they can get away with it like nah we we not no.
Nah,
So
not going for none of that.
my question for you is though like I know you big on your faith especially I was like oh how do you balance your faith with basketball all at the same time.
um, I I kind of grew up in the faith, so like I mean it's kind of different when cause you could grow up next to God and not know God.
Mm.
So I would say for me with basketball, I've dealt with a lot of like mental, like not like knowing I'm good enough, but I had coaches that wouldn't give me the opportunity or would just be like, nah, you think you're too good. And it's like if you really knew how much confidence I was lacking, you telling me I would be good will probably get the ball rolling, you know? So I feel like just knowing that God has a bigger purpose for me, that everything happens for a reason, literally. I meet people through God. I've had interactions. I kept it with me too. I found a little Jesus on the plane before we played the championship, and I always wanted one of these, and I never could get one, but I ended up finding one. I was,
Oh, I've seen those.
I told myself, and we ended up winning the championship, and I was like, see, I found it before we got there, because we left from Kansas to Atlanta. We landed in Atlanta. I found this, and I was like, I think this is just a sign. So I just kept it the whole time. Of course, I washed it, but I kept it the whole time. And just, just a reminder, because sometimes you know, but then you don't. You know, but sometimes you don't know. No, like, God, why are you putting me through so much? Like, I got kicked off a team before, like my first year, JUCO, I got kicked off the team because I was talking too much. I went to Lane, won a ring, got into some disciplinary actions. Had to take a couple months off. Got brought back to the team. COVID happened. So left that school, went to Kansas. I've never been to Kansas before in my life. Came to Kansas, first year at Kansas, got in trouble. Got in trouble. Had to sit out. Had a red shirt. Um, got back. That was my best year. Then after that, I was supposed to have my coach as the head coach. She ended up leaving me. I ended up had to ask my assistant coach if I could be the GA. That year, had to go through a lot with financials, not having, because as a GA, people don't realize, depending on the school, only got paid $185 every 2 weeks.
Mm.
That's $300 a month. If that, paying for rent with $300, it's not easy. And trying to feed yourself is not easy. So just understanding that God gives his biggest battles to the people that he knows can handle it. Like everybody goes through their own situations because God knows, okay, you can handle this. Like I know a couple of people in my life that have lost parents, siblings, things like that. I know for me, I could probably never go through that. Like, but I could go through certain things that they could never go through. So just understanding that he got you regardless. His hands are on you. Just look up, just thank him. I feel like the most thing you could do is ask for grace and be grateful because he didn't have to give you anything, but he gives you anything: life, breath, family, opportunities, anything. So that's why I put this one, because if God's with me and before me, can't nobody come against me.
Ooh, let me get my tambourine for that, cause ooh, I heard that.
You know,
Eh,
it be like that
woo.
sometimes, though. Gotta get through them dark days to really understand sometimes.
It's interesting because I was literally when you mentioned that, like, God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, and only the strong survive through trial tribulation. The way you explain it, it kind of reminds me of, like, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call.
Okay, I got a little chill for that one.
I was just saying, you know,
I'm just saying, I ain't never heard that one. That
really.
one gave me chills.
Because, like, here's the thing, like,
That's
and
deep.
here's the thing too, like, a lot of people think like wisdom equivalates to being older. I was like, no, you
No,
can be older and still be folly. You can be older and still make the dumbest decisions. But there is some young people that can be very wise beyond their years. So wisdom doesn't equivalent to how old you are in age wise, you know, like older wise. You could be young. I mean, 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Do not look upon, you know, my youth just because I'm a
period.
bit wise." So
Yeah. I feel like with the days coming and like, God, God's, he's touching that time, but I think he's calling up the youth for real. Like, it's either you're going to be one way or the other way. I feel like he's calling up the youth to try to tell the other side of the youth, like, you don't have to be this way. Like, you don't have to be in sin in order to enjoy life. You can literally, just live with me and you'll be good. Yeah. So,
you
yeah.
gotta let them know what it is. So, and this leads to my question, and I always say that athletes are humans first, because
Mhm.
they have feelings and emotions just like everyone else. For you as a black woman, an athlete, and a coach, how important is mental health to you?
Mental health is very important. I'm starting to realize more as I get older how important it really is, not just like family wise, but myself. Um, that I know a lot of times nowadays everybody wants to do this, like, oh, I gotta work on myself. I gotta work on myself. I feel like, of course, you have to work on yourself, but even Jesus didn't do anything alone. Like, anything. Like, people don't even realize carrying the cross, he had help. He had a little help. Like, so, like, I feel like we have to get out of this thing where we can't call on the people or we can't ask people for help just because we're in a situation or things are hard. I feel like we can call on him, but we also need to be able to reach out to somebody that's important to us or just to realize that okay, I'm not okay. Like I might need to call my mom or dad. Like I'm like or just get it off your chest. Like I feel like journaling definitely helps, but for me, I like to journal, but I also need an outlet. I need someone I can talk to because I carry a lot of stuff in my chest. Like I literally caught IBS. I don't know if you ever heard of it, irritable bowel syndrome. I
Mm-mm.
caught it due to having stress. My best friend died my senior year, and I wasn't able to like mentally like grasp it. So I internally kept it in, and it caused my outer body to show. So I would break out in hives, and just my stomach would be hurting. I'd be itching all day, and then it got bad to the point where I had to go to the hospital and get a colonoscopy and an endoscopy. So um, just understanding that to that point, like I have to just everybody's different. Like you, like some people journaling is good for you. Some people walking is good for you. Me, I feel like I could do all those things, but I also need a person or God or because God brings people in your life. My mother, like she's that for me. Like just a vent. Like I don't want you to say anything, but I just need to get this off my chest because if I don't, I think I'm gonna crash out inside. Like I don't want that for myself. And as Black women, a lot of things are generational. So a lot of things how we act, how we present ourselves are what your mom or your grandmother or your father went through. Like I'm starting to realize that, like certain things we say, like why do we say that? God knows my heart. Who said that? Like who came up with that? Like like certain things, like but I feel like as a culture, as a community, we definitely need to do better at coming together to handle our issues. I feel like it's more the devil to isolate than to come together. Because if everybody's isolated, how are we gonna help each other? Like if you worried about you, you worried about yourself, and I'm worried about myself. When hell hits the table, who's gonna you're just gonna help yourself? You're not gonna. So that's what I wanna try to get back into, like bring to people's mind. Like of course you have to worry about yourself, but this world, this economy, everything started with this. So yeah.
Ooh, ooh, that's real, man.
Yeah.
That's real.
That's
That's
how I was raised like that. Like my mother is a servant leader, so like service is my way of acting and showing love. Like so I don't know, but sometimes that could be hard too. Like you showing too much service to the wrong people. Like
mm,
so it's like having the type of discernment to know like I can love you, but I can't serve you right now. So it's like it's kind of hard. I'm just trying to figure it out, you know. So
that's
definitely is. Yeah.
that's real because you said like it's good to serve people, but when people start feeling like it's okay to take advantage of that, it's like, bro, no.
Yeah, you gotta have the discernment. Like Pastor Philip always talks about you owe everybody love, not access though. I can love
Woo.
you, but I don't gotta have access or let you in my life. I could just, you know, pray for you over there. Or I ain't even gotta pray for you. I just show you love.
Woo. You owe everyone love, but not access. Woo. Like, mm,
That's a true statement.
that is so true. Like, because one thing for sure, ooh, that just hit deep. That hit deep. When it comes,
Amen.
and this leads to my question. When it comes to representation, how important is representation for women's sports?
I think it's very important. I think all sides of representation, because sometimes they want girls to look pretty and hold up this type of front that we have to hold ourselves to a certain standard. But I feel like when you're playing in an active, physical, competitive sport, there's other sides of it. other components that need to come out in that representation. Like, of course, be a example of a woman, how a woman should uphold herself, and how a woman should carry herself out as a coach or as a player. Take care of yourself, make sure you look uh the part while you're on camera, but also it's okay to express yourself. If you get an N1, it's okay to yell. It's okay to talk a little junk. It's okay to clap. It's okay to do what the guys do sometimes. Like they think it's okay to be yourself. Um, however that looks, I feel like sometimes we feel like we have to be put in a certain box, and I feel like with sports there shouldn't be a box. Like like seriously, there shouldn't be a box. The only thing I feel like it should be more respected. I feel like people need to respect the presentation or how women are even presenting themselves. Because a lot of times we could spaz out, we could jaw at that, but we don't want y'all to look at us a certain way. So we compose ourselves and hold ourselves to a higher standard. So I feel like sometimes allow the standard to be a little lower so some females can just be themselves and not have to feel like they have to place themselves or do a certain thing to fit in or to be a certain. Because I know for me, I talk a lot of junk. I grew up, I didn't like have a trainer. I literally watched boys play, and that's how I played basketball. Like I played soccer growing up and swam. I didn't play basketball. So I feel like if you understand that certain everybody comes from different variety of how they express themselves and how they present themselves on the court, you'll will understand that okay, this is a different type of love. This is something different we've never been seen before for real. Like I feel like back in the day, you're a girl, you have to play this type of way. Now we don't care. We're gonna play how we want to play.
Period. Because we could be beauty on the court. We could be the beauty and the beast on the court. We could be beauty off camera with the media day because media day for women's sports is always
It is
tea.
Beauty and the Beast. I like that.
I'm just saying, like, because um, I know, like, growing up, you used to, like, there were so many players growing up that, I used to see all the time, like, Skylar Diggins, like, man, like, everybody lot I know a lot of people that wanted to looked up to her, who had the headband, and she was
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous, but she was a beast on the court. She's like, I could be more than just beauty. I'm a beastie on the court and show y'all what I have.
Exactly. My representation when I was playing, I was blessed to have like people that were actually like buckets, like D1, WNBA, NBA athletes. Like I grew up with Taya Cooper and Cherie down the
Ooh,
street from me. So we was in the
ooh,
same neighborhood. So I'm playing in practice. I go to practice. I'm just playing against Taya. I don't know if you know Kalia Robinson, Jada. Uh, there was at least probably 6 to 7 D1 players that I had to go or watch or went up against in practice or even in the neighborhood um, or Coop. We'll watch AOT. I was a part of AOT during the summer for a little bit. Um, and I got to play with Taya. So it's just being able to watch certain people. Like she was the reason why I wore two because I never seen a girl play like a dude. So coming into Powder Springs, I was from Marietta, coming to Powder Springs. I don't know basketball, but I see all these boys that can hoop. But I see this one girl that's a bucket. She's the number one player in Georgia. She got size like a dude. She don't talk that much junk, but she don't need to because she's a bucket. So that was my representation of like what like real basketball looks like organized. I could still talk a little junk. I could still be cut size too, and I don't have to be looked because I was looked as masculine back in the day too. Like I feel like I saw a lot of women that were able to be cut masculine or have definition in their tone and how they present themselves and still were able to be looked as a female, a number one athlete, and not looked as and like how they used to look at Serena Williams and stuff like that.
hmm. That's interesting. You brought up Taya Cooper because I remember Taya Cooper back in the day, like where
People don't, man. She literally could come back to the WNBA and drop buckets if she wanted to.
I just don't understand how like she's not playing. Like
It's
it's
probably
just
something with business or something. Or you gotta think the team's gotta want her. That's a lot of that's a lot of eyes on one person. You gotta think her first, second year, I think she was the most attractive player in the WNBA. It's the first year. They was making dolls for her. That's
oh
tough.
yeah.
That's tough. You got people like Skylar Diggins that's been in here 10 years. You seen the Skylar Diggins doll? So mm,
It's just I mean she Taya is killing it overseas too. Like and it's just
she's
it's just
smart too. She's smart how she doing it. I feel like once more women see, like the Unrivaled was a blessing too. If Unrivaled didn't come, all women would go overseas to play probably. Unrivaled was a blessing, definitely.
for sure. And then you had Athletes Unlimited where they have the other
I'm
like the
starting to see that one too.
cause
Like the little 5-on-5 now. Yeah, I saw that one. So
and, and it's all about like the point system to how they do it though. It's like 5 on 5, but it's like the point system who gets the most points in a week or something, and like they become like the week
hmm
1 week if you get most points you get become a captain and stuff. I was like, oh, but
yeah, that's why I can't wait for them to open this little G League upshot team.
you plan on going for it?
Am I?
And she's like, you. She's like, yep. She's like,
I like all those. I like for me. I don't know. Maybe that's just how I grew up. Like I got to my. I try to keep my focus, but I like to put my hands in a lot of things too. Like I'm a ISS teacher as well, so I'm a trainer for top 5 sports. You can check us out in Kansas. So I got a hands, but they're all under the same umbrella. But definitely open up in a lot of things.
you multifaceted in. I'm here for
Got
it.
to, got to.
So my question for you is, if there was a word, a phrase, or a scripture to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
Uh, I posted this the other day. I don't know. God must want me to say this. It says that if I had 1,000 tongues, Lord, it still wouldn't be enough to thank you. Um, I would say that. I have a couple on my phone. Like that's the one thing I do want to get better at is like you hear scriptures from church, but I want some that's so embedded in my head that I know them off the back of the like just off rip. I had another one in Romans. Oh, and basically it's talking about it's nothing that we can do in this world to separate us from God. Nothing. That one hit. So you telling me I could do anything and you'll still love me? That's like sometimes people need to hear that. Like nothing you could do, nothing you could do. So sometimes me, cause I struggle with sometimes with like I have self love, but cause I serve so much, I get mad at the love not received back. But I don't have to get that love if I get His love. So
Hmm.
I gotta remind myself of that. Like, whose love do you really want? Like, do you want this little tiny love that's gonna last for what, or do you want eternal love? So
Man,
say
the way
that.
you describe that reminds me, it's like Romans 5:8, where God gave his greatest love by where Christ died for us.
hmm
And
But
then,
people don't realize that nigga didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that.
and it's the way it's interesting how you said, like that's real, like, the self love, like where you say, I love myself. And the way you said, you like you would hope or wish like the same people, you would receive the same love by the same people. But it's
Mhm.
like, why worry about that when you have a love that's greater than that? It's like,
Right.
and it reminds me of Galatians 1:10, where it says, "Am I not seeking approval of man, or am I not seeking approval from God Himself?" Like, why? It's like, because
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Yeah.
different. It's like the difference between the temporary like pleasantness versus the eternal like grace. You have to,
Yeah.
like, when it comes to joy, like you have to go through like a lot of suffering to get to joy. Like there's a difference between joy and happiness. So,
Yeah. My aunt made she got a song. She's a gospel artist. She said in her song, she talks about a love that never dies. And we got a love first that will never, ever, ever, ever die. You know, you gotta remember that sometimes.
woo, let me get that. Bow, bow, man. I'm telling you, I have to have my tambourine with me because somebody sent me. First of all, shout out to the person that's watching this, that's been watching. They're like, they had to send me a tambourine because I would always use like a little paper note card as a fan, but they were like, let me just send you a tambourine. But then I would see Asia Wilson had a tambourine. What happened was I saw Asia Wilson had a tambourine during her post press conference and stuff. But I was like, I knew why she had a tambourine. I was like, she's from South Carolina. So, but but it was interesting because anytime Asia heard something that was deep or real, especially from that Paris conference, I was like, that is me right there. Like, yes, we deserve to get a little pay more. Just so we def female hoopers deserve a whole lot more pay than what is given. Oh, I can't hear you. I, oh, I still can't hear you at all. Like, uh, a little bit. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. But what was the question again? I'm sorry.
I feel like female hoopers deserve to get a little bit more pay than what is being received right now. Like,
Oh no, definitely. We spend so much money on dumb things around this world. You could at least give women a little more money for something. Like, I'm starting to realize so much money that we waste, like meter maids, stuff like that. Where does that stuff go to? Like, yeah, it's just a lot of things we pay for in this world that are not the brightest or best reasons to spend those expenses. And I feel like why not give it to the category of women that are actually, you know, it's
for
not
sure.
like women. It's not like women have an NFL team. You know, you don't have to pay for millions of NFL players like y'all do. Like they get paid. You don't have a women's league for every single thing in the league. Like you have a MLB. You don't have a WLB, right? So like you could literally save some of that money and put it towards women's basketball because that's the only area that's literally exploding for women's sports besides flag football.
For sure. All I know is we just, I was like, you know what? I just, it's like we just had a mini blooper moment, which makes it most, I said, sometimes I have many blooper moments where it's like, oh, like something like that. So, but it makes the podcast raw and real. Stuff like this happens. I'm like, I'm here for it. So, but it just makes it amazing, more amazing. So, my question for you is: Bonafide means authentic, unique. So, what makes Miss Sierra Brown bona fide, and what makes your story stand out?
Um, I really not supposed to be here. I'm really not supposed to be here. Like the route that I took, I didn't tell you what happened between my college years, but just the mistakes that I took repeatedly, continuously. This is nothing but God and His grace and Him telling me I'm not done with you yet. I still got my hand on you. Um, you know that uh, I can't. It's definitely, it's definitely different. But I would say from everybody else, I feel like, of course, you have your. I feel like God, like literally, be speaking to me, like when I be wanting to quit, like He be speaking to me through basketball in a sense, like through like relationships with the girls, cause even with like high school, like people don't realize with the whole Trump thing that affects my money with getting paid and how I get paid. Um, it's just I feel like sometimes more like God brings me back to basketball to keep me at peace when when my world is like going through it, because I I feel like I'm always through something every year, like literally in my life. And God, basketball, my mother, and my family have been the only things to keep me above water when I want to drown and sink sometimes. So I was just saying, what makes me different is that I speak about my relationship with God more, I feel like, than people are. Even as what like my sexuality, I feel like I'm realizing certain things and I'm not scared to talk about them, and I don't care not to talk about them. I'm being more bold with the Lord within my sport and just Him in general. Um, because even like I feel like sometimes I have to close my like my not have to, but I feel like I have to close my mouth around the world with God in a sense. Like at Lane, I didn't, because you're in the culture of HBCU, you have to go to church sometimes. But when I went to the PWI and the high school, it's always we still talk about God, but it's just in a different way. And I feel like sometimes I feel like I have to hold my tongue around certain people, and I talk about specific things like. Of course, God loves us all, but do you think God would want us to do this certain thing? Or like, I feel like I make people think about God differently. Like I don't know. I feel like I bring up situations and topics that people really don't want to talk about because everybody think they're going to heaven because they know God, and I'm realizing like we're not just because we know Him. Like, and the fact that He gives us grace and we continue to do the opposite is the fact that there's even more reason why we're not gonna be able to do what we're gonna do, or what we think we're gonna be able to do after this life. So I feel like He's definitely changing my mind. I don't think like how I used to. I used to only think basketball, like just basketball. Now I think about Him and basketball, and I'm trying to think. I don't want to put Him. I don't want to put basketball before Him. That's one thing I don't want to do. I know some people don't think about it like that. Like you put in football or basketball before God, but if you can wake up and go throughout your whole day and do 8 workouts and not pray, who's your God? Like I even talk about with that. Like I'm like, you work out 8 times a day, bro. Is there any time where you don't work out and you just pray the whole day, or you just think about God the whole day, or it's just a sermon? Like so, it's just more so trying to not put things on this earth that I love so much before God and realizing that He's the one that gave it to me. So I have to give it back to Him in order to really get a blessing. I can't expect a blessing and He's not in it. If He's not in it, people don't realize the devil gives blessings just like God. And I don't want no blessing from the devil. Me in particular, I want none from him. So I have to have a discernment and know, like, okay, am I receiving this for me, or am I receiving this because this is what God wants from me? And there's a big difference. Like, I could want what I want. Like, I want a lot of things in this world, and I'm at the age right now. It's like I want to help my family, make sure my parents are good, but I also want to make sure that I'm doing what He wants. Because if I do what I want and I die and I go and I'm separated from Him, what was this life for? You know? So I'm trying to just get back to, even people don't realize basketball was started because of God. Like, literally, the sport of basketball was presented, it came about so they could spread God's word, worship, fellowship, all those things were a part of Dr. Naismith, which started in Kansas. Dr. Naismith's, his whole, not ideology, but his whole main thing, his main point was to spread the word. And I feel like it's starting to catch on fire now. And I just feel like me, I'm going to say it boldly. I think I'm going to change the gay community of hoopers and how we think about God. Because a lot of us think we're going to go to heaven because we love God, and we're gay. And I don't think exactly that's going to work. So I want to try to like present it in a different way. You don't have to like men, you don't, but because you can go to heaven single. It's just who are you putting your faith in? Like, you feel me? Like, I haven't said that out loud before, so maybe God just wanted me to get that out. Maybe He wanted me to get that out. Because I actually never said that out loud. Oh boy. But yeah, just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out though. I am.
That's real though. That's real. You should like. There's a reason why God places people in lives. They're being used as vessels and everything. So, and there's a reason why He gives the gifts or the things He puts and plants in your life and everything. So, like, gotta utilize it.
For sure.
So, Miss Sierra, can you let the folks know how where they can find and support you and any upcoming events happening your way?
Upcoming events. I planned. We go to nationals. Look up high school. First of all, you just gotta look up high school for Native American basketball. Anyways, you just gotta look it up. But look up high school Indians, uh, Nations University, HINU, just in case. We just played Georgia Gwinnett. They thought they was gonna win 3 times. They didn't. They lost, and we won. So I would say go check us.
Oh, and the screen went black. She shall be back, y'all. And the technical difficulties. So, um,
Wait, oh, I was gonna say, how do I go back? I got a spam call. Wait, hold on.
I can't hear you. Yes, a little bit. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes. I can't
Yeah.
hear you for some reason.
Oh, so because when you have a call, it takes all its audio. Try to go back. If I say try to go back in and come back, try to go out and come back in.
I ain't hearing nothing. Okay, I'm gonna try to decipher what you're saying.
So go back out and then come back in.
Go exit out and come back.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I got a spam call. Gotta work on that. But I would also say I'm trying to go overseas this summer. Hopefully that could be like home. You know. Trying to get on the upshot league. So definitely catch me in Savannah. Maybe Florida. Portugal. I might go to the Euro League. Pro Dreams. I'm trying to get on A&M, A&M, anything, all gas, no mercy. I'm trying to get on them, trying to get on the one-on-one scene. That's another thing. If you know anybody want to play one-on-one, let me know. Don't nobody want to play me one-on-one. I don't know why, but we put money on it, free. I don't care. Pride, I don't care. You just gotta be good at basketball. Um, and yeah, you can look me up at Instagram _CNB2. Um, Jesus is real. Everybody get close to the Lord. He's coming back soon. And yeah, I thank you. And I'm blessed to be encountered with your presence and your ability to reach people and talk about mental health and because you give people opportunity to look at things different and you also give people opportunity to get things off their chest. So I thank you and you're doing your thing.
Be sure to follow Miss Cierra Brown ASAP, and be sure to check out their
Cool. Haskell.
Haskell's. I was like, I don't want to butcher it up. Be sure to check out the Haskell's College.
Indians Native University.
She filled it out for me. Be,
Gotcha.
be sure to check them out as they're going to nationals.
Yes, Indiana.
See, Indiana International. So be sure to check them out, and be sure to follow her at _CNB2. Big shout out to everybody that tuned in to Bonafide Podcast episode 218. And big shout out to Miss Cierra Brown for coming on the podcast to share your story. You can check out the live replay of Bonafide Podcast episode 218 featuring Cierra Brown after this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.